Number 6, we need to solve a chore work. A kitchen floor is 226 100ths feet squared. Marie has 140.5 feet squared of tile. How much more is needed? When we look at much more, that usually means, well, we have this much total we need. We have this much. So what is this amount? Looks like we're going to have to probably do a little bit of subtraction here to figure that out. For number 7, we're going to be doing something we started last week where we did combine like terms. So while you may know how to do that, you can see that this 3/4 x and this negative, careful that minus does go with this 1/2 x term. And this, we've got two positive fractions that are just rational numbers, no variables attached to them. I circled them or squared them, boxed them with color coding. You can combine those. It looks like we're going to need to make common denominators here, though. So for the red boxes, you're going to need a denominator of 6ths. I'll put a question mark there. You're going to need to make these 6ths. And for our green boxes, for our x with the coefficient of 3/4 and a coefficient of 1/2, you're going to have to make these ones 4ths. All right, so make sure you multiply your numerators by the same value, and then you'll be able to add or subtract or whatever you need to do with these like terms. Your answer should have a term with an x and a term with a rational number by itself. Number 8, solve, write an equation if needed. This is another one, like number 7, we started this last week. This is a division problem, so you need to do the inverse of division. You need to do the opposite of divide by 5 to both sides. Number 9. Number 9 here, we have an entire angle that's 160 degrees. Okay, it's labeled here as a 160. The whole thing is 160. So we need to say that 5x plus 3x equals 160. We need to figure out what x equals, and we need to find out then what does each angle equal. So you can combine like terms first. We'll combine like terms first, and then you'll be able to do the inverse of multiplication to figure out what x is, and then tell me what each angle is going to be. For number 10, this is a unit rate problem. We have 12 gallons in 2/3 of a rain barrel. So how many gallons in one barrel? There's plenty of ways we can solve this, but most likely you're probably doing this cross multiplying, or some of you called it the butterfly method, where you're doing 12 times 1, and you're going to end up dividing by this, or maybe you just recognize, well, that's the same thing as just dividing this. 12 divided by 2/3 is the same thing. So you'll be able to solve that proportion there. Notice that 12 gallons go in 2/3 of a barrel. So like here's our barrel. Here's 1/3, 2/3. So from like here to here, this is 12 gallons. So how much more is needed to fill this whole gallon? You should be able to see that, well, maybe actually I can probably just do this in my head, because there's 6 and 6, because that makes a total of 12. So how much more do we need to add to make this last 1/3?